I need to look forward to tomorrow. Give me some Prage. Opium? I'm huffing it. We're huffing the cope. I don't know if I do have Prage in here. Nice. Yeah, we're huffing the cope right now. All right. We're doing both. We're praying and we're coping. We just need some juice. It's because I have it paused and I rewound it. We're fine. Please, Henry. Begging.
Hello, heroes of Arcasia. Henry back with another episode of Patch Notes with Henry. Today we're going to cover the December Winter Soloist update, which is going to be arriving in Arcasia on December 18th.
Be nice to Henry.
It's going to have some really cool new stuff. The Soloist theme is...
Before we get into it, when the fuck are we in North America, not you guys obviously, but me and the North American player base, getting some goddamn Makoko merch? Clearly they have it. So when are we getting it? You're American, but you said you were on a billion ping. So I'm assuming that you're not in North America. But when the fuck? That's crazy. Just buy it and ship it? I don't even know if we can buy it. But when are we, like, come on. They'd be printing money. This is bullshit.
Is coming because we have...
You live on American soil and you get 200 ping. What are you, in Alaska? Or are you in an embassy? We're getting off topic.
Have some new solo modes coming to the game with
Thaymine
and Echidna. Along with those, we're going to have some new progression events, quality of life updates, and a big overhaul to a bunch of progression systems that are going to be releasing alongside Korea. That were just announced in Loa-On and we just covered in the roadmap earlier this week. Super excited to dive into some of this with you. But as always, this is going to be a bit of an overview. We're not going to do the full list of quality of life. We'll direct you to the full written patch notes for some of that. And also, some of this is coming into the build so fast. We're trying to release it, as soon as possible, since it is meaningful stuff that you, the community, have been asking for. I can't check it out even in game yet. We're still working on getting some of those builds and collaborating with Smilegate to get that in our version of the game. So today we're just going to talk through it, and then I'll direct you to the full written notes for a few nuggets of additional information. But let's dive into it. Well, let's start off with the namesake of the update, the solo mode update. So the first part of that is you're going to be able to prepare to challenge notorious threats in solo for the first time, with Thaymine, the Legion raid, and Echidna, a Kazaros raid, added.
Are we going to talk about the battle items they're using? You're trolling the player base, giving these new players a false sense of what to do.
To the roster of raids.
I don't even know what the first grenade is.
There's going to be a bunch of related items added to the solo mode exchange, and as part of that update to solo mode, there's going to be a new bonus system called the breakthrough bonus. So let's quickly talk through the breakthrough bonus system. When you successfully complete specific, very important patterns in the raid, an example would be like breaking Vultan's armor in the beginning of Gate 2, you're going to receive a breakthrough buff. There's going to be a random buff that you'll receive, and you can receive a maximum of 3 of those throughout the course of the raid. The buff list is something that's still being developed even right now leading up to the update, but one that I can talk about is the super self-reliant buff, which is a spin on the existing self-reliant buff that allows you to survive like a wipe pattern. The way that this one's going to work is it's actually going to be a play on that which protects you even more, protecting you from even crazier wipe patterns or, for example, falling off of the map. So there's going to be kind of those new spins, and you'll be able to earn those throughout the course of the fight while still learning the mechanics of the raid.
I wonder if we have the full list of these breakthrough buffs.
Along with that update, we're also going to be instituting a cost decrease for solo mode view more rewards, those rewards that you can purchase after you clear a gate. The full list of all of those rewards are in the written patch notes, but I'm not going to read through like the full list because it goes for every gate from Vaulton all the way through Ivory Tower. So there's a ton of adjustments there. I think my quick napkin math on it was somewhere between 30 to 35% reduction. So a pretty sizable one for players that are still clearing that on some gold earners and trying to purchase those rewards to further their characters, hone up, get those materials, that sort of thing. And the final quick note on solo mode, there's been a slight nerf to the Kakul Sadon raid. The bingo phase of Gate 3 has been removed just to make that a bit more of an express and easier experience for players.
That's not good enough. Remove that goddamn clown from the game, and all is forgiven. You could give us another dogshit system for a gear upgrade, but if you just like delete Kakul Sadon from everything Lost Ark, I'll forgive you.
Playing through that on solo mode.
Stupid raid.
It will still be in the non-solo mode versions of the raid, so players can still experience that when they go fight Kakul Sadon on his other difficulties. So if you watched our roadmap video earlier this week, one of the things that we talked about is the next Kazaros raid being added to the game, the one that features Narok and the redesigned Belshazzar in kind of an icy and wintry setting. So in this update, we're going to be adding the Kazaros raid Act 2 prologue. The prologue quest covers the story of how the Allied forces began a new strategy to overcome the current situation for the ongoing war in North Curzon. As you progress through the prologue quest, you will learn the new strategy of the Allied forces after fighting Aegir, especially as we head towards that battle against Narok and Belshazzar. There's some new strategies that need to come up. So you can receive that prologue quest paving the way to victory from the NPC Mihan at the Abydos garrison. There's some prerequisite quests for that, including the North Curzon quest, the Path to Take, and also completing the Kazaros Raid Act 1 prologue quest, where the volcanic ash has settled. So once you've done those, you're ready to embark on this new adventure to prepare for that new raid arriving next month in January. Up next, we have a new season of Proving Grounds kicking off. Season 6 is going to be arriving. There's a few tweaks for this season. For instance, Courage coins are going to be removed, and instead there's a new event exchange that lasts throughout the course of the season. So more of like a seasonal exchange. And that's going to include some new stuff, including some tier 4 rewards. So if you're a fan of PvP, definitely go check that out when it's added to the game. All right, up next, let's talk about progression updates. A lot of these changes were just debuted at Loa On a few days ago, but since it's been such a top concern from the community, we wanted to make sure that we pulled these into the update as fast as possible, especially while we have some of these progression events going on that utilize these systems or introduce newer returning players to them. So let's start off talking about some of the Elixir adjustments. The Elixir progression system has been overhauled to make Elixir transmuting faster, easier to get good results, and less strategic to just simplify the overall experience. The Elixir refine method has been updated so that of the 5 options that you select, 4 are going to be selected automatically when you receive the Elixir, and then you can select whatever you want, whatever option you want for that last effect. The transmutation experience has been simplified. We decreased the transmute times from 14 down to 10, so while there's less times you transmute, we simplified and improved the advice options granted by the sages. We also removed the order and chaos gauge
we'll talk about it a little bit after,
and then increased the great success rate. So while you're transmuting the elixirs less times, the options are going to be simplified, it's going to be easier, and also you're going to have a way better chance.
Resistance cost changes, restoration gets cheaper. The weapon restoration is still rough, but at least they're giving you more tickets than the armor. But still, 2,000 gold after you get fucked by RNG is not great
at hitting those great success rates. Along with that, there's some other simplifications. We decreased the number of view other options from 2 down to 1, so you just have that one kind of save option if you need to completely recycle something. But with the new options, it should just be a simpler experience and let you go through that just faster and easier overall. Up next, let's talk about some of the adjustments to the Transcendence system. This system has also been overhauled to simplify the progression path. The system will now purify stone tablets instead of breaking them, so the minigame has kind of shifted around. When Transcendence starts, a little fairy is located on the beginning stone tablet, and then as you select elemental cards, the fairy moves a designated number of times, and each elemental card has an activation probability. When the fairy moves through all the tablets and reaches the last one, the Transcendence will be completed. New special tablets to help Transcendence will be added, and the effect of Elzuin's Grace will be modified accordingly. We hope that this will just simplify the experience overall and make it smoother as you progress through it on both a new character, or if you're a player going through it for the first time, you probably won't need to rely on as many outside programs. I know a lot of people use the Transcendence calculator, for instance. This should just simplify it and make sure that you can progress through that system without needing to know too much outside knowledge about how to do it optimally. All right, for advanced honing, another progression system, a new honing support material will be added. It's going to act kind of similar to tailoring and metallurgy books when you're honing your normal gear, but instead is going to increase the great success chance for advanced honing. I think this will be just a good way of granting players some materials to help them through that system. I know there's been some talk in the community about it feeling a bit expensive when you're doing it in tier 4 as opposed to tier 3.
Because it is.
But hopefully this helps us, just be able to grant some materials to make that a little bit faster and alleviate it. But if you have any continued feedback, feel free to keep supplying that to our teams. It's always super helpful. So that's it for kind of the end game system reworks. But we're also able to pull in some changes for tier 2 and tier 3 chaos dungeons for players that maybe still have some alts down there, or for new players that are coming in and still experiencing that content. So tier 2 and 3 chaos dungeons have been decreased from 2 per day down to 1 per day. You're still going to receive the same amount of rewards from that as before. All the gear, accessories, honing materials, silver, gems,
and people like me still playing on people like me still playing on tier 3 rats, being able just to do 1 chaos dungeon and 1 guardian a day makes it it's just so much more enjoyable from a player standpoint, honestly.
So you're not going to be missing out on anything. It's just going to simplify that experience down into 1 dungeon rather than needing to re-enter and do it again. To go along with that, you're going to have to spend 100 Aura of Resonance instead of 50, and then you're going to need to use 40 rest bonus instead of 20 if you want to get those increased rest bonus rewards. Very similar to how it functions in tier 4 when you're doing the Curzon frontline. And then along with that, Chaos Dungeon Stronghold Dispatch rewards are going to be adjusted accordingly. Along with all these updates, there's a few buffs that we've expanded as well. Honing that requires only silver.
And silver honing stage from 1540. Okay. Expanded the basic growth, boosting up to Belshazzar gear, honing level 20. Level 1 to 19 will now have a 60% honing breakthrough materials.
Instead of gold has been expanded to
buffs.
Item level 1580 instead of where it was previously
so it's just cheaper to kind of get to
we
a
also
con.
expanded the starting novice adventurer buff and expanded the Procyon's protection effect all the way up to Echidna normal mode. So that will help players kind of check out some of those raids like Echidna and Thamine with these buffs to make that experience a little bit easier, especially if they're new and want to check out solo mode. They'll be able to have this when doing those difficulties of the raid. All right, let's talk about events. We got some cool stuff coming in this month to hopefully continue to help with progression, since we've been kind of on that train. We can keep the good times rolling. One thing I know people are going to be looking forward to is we're adding a South Curzon Power Pass. Those are going to be available in the store, but we're also going to be giving a free event one to all players. Using that South Curzon Power Pass is going to drop the designated character off at item level 1580, as if they just completed the South Curzon storyline. This event Power Pass is going to be available to use until February 26th, 2025. The other big event that we have coming in is going to be called the Icy Breakthrough event.
Well, we're just dropping a free character off at 1580. Maybe I'll just save that, and then maybe I'll be able to make 2 characters when Wild Soul comes out. We'll see.
It's a new mission-based progression event built to help players progress through the beginning of Tier 4. It's a great continuation of the ongoing Hyper Awakening Road event and will help progression in early Tier 4. There's going to be 4 categories of missions. There's weapon honing, armor honing, clearing Echidna gates, and clearing Behemoth gates. The honing missions will grant Hellfire honing books and gold as you hone your gear over item level 1640.
Excuse me?
The Echidna missions are going to grant Agris's scales and Alkaon's eyes, along with the new advanced honing support material that we talked about a little bit earlier in the progression section. Finally, the Behemoth missions are going to grant Behemoth scales and weapon transcendence restoration tickets.
They're juicing.
Yeah, so all of this together is going to really help, especially if you just had a character that finished the Hyper Awakening Road, help push it, give it some ammo to keep pushing, you know, up to like A gear normal mode at 1660, where you can start getting some benefits of Ark passive and whatnot. Should just be a good way of getting some gold, some additional materials, and some help progressing through some of those auxiliary progression paths that you need to take in Lost Ark. Cool, up next, let's quickly talk about some store updates. In this update, we're going to be releasing some limited time winter sales. So you can get ready to end the year with a bang. There's going to be some really big deals, and the sale is going to have kind of a two-prong approach. There's going to be 4 packs in Steam, each with one little bonus item, but then also a bunch of heavily discounted royal crystals. So you can stock up on a bunch of royal crystals for the holidays at a good rate.
I wonder if when he's talking about this, if he's going to bring up the New Year's gift they mentioned before, was it before or after Loan? I forget, but they mentioned a New Year's gift for NA. So I wonder if he'll mention it here.
And then in-game in the, F4 shop, there's going to be a bunch of packages you can use those royal crystals to purchase in the game. And there's a bonus room as well. So as you purchase some more of those packs, you'll continue to earn rewards and get some cool bonus items. We're going to publish a full showcase of those packs the day that the update drops, so make sure to keep an eye out for them. The dates for that sale are going to be December 18th to January 8th, so make sure you hop in and grab them while you can. So along with those limited time sales being added to the shop, there's also going to be a new cosmetic collection. We're going to have the Snowfield set arriving in the shop. You can reach the height of wintry fashion with the new Snowfield formal party skins, and travel as if you're in a winter wonderland in the Snowfield sled mount. A festive fairy pet kind of rounds out the collection as a cool new companion.
Oh, we are getting the skins.
Let's take a look at the new cosmetics showcased here.
So I've already seen these. These skins they make me want to spend money. Golly. Meh. This skin is absurd. I can't lie, Chad. I almost want to bark, but we're not gonna go there. But this skin, I would spend gold on this skin. Even the mount's pretty sick too.
Alright, let's round out the video with some general updates. I've pulled out a few updates that I think the community, you all are going to really care about, and we'll talk through some of those, but there's going to be a bunch more. And this is the section where if you're really curious about all of the little system changes, I'd encourage you to go read through the full notes. But there's a couple thousand words of just kind of general small systems changes that we don't really have time to read through all of those today. But let's talk through some that are pretty important. So first of all, the music box of memory is going to be improved. We simplified the starting condition of a bunch of those quests to create a smoother and more streamlined experience.
Thank God.
If you want to start getting some of those collectibles now's a great time. You're going to be able to hop in and get them a little bit faster with maybe a fewer prerequisites. All of the ways which that has been tweaked is listed out in the full notes. There's some pretty cool combat improvements coming. The one that I'm personally most excited for is we've removed the internal cooldown of monsters' counterattacks, so that even if a boss uses a counter pattern consecutively within like a short period of time, you're now going to be able to counter that second pattern. That's really great for some damage uptime windows. I remember in Voldus, it was kind of frustrating sometimes not being able to counter Lazaram in the final gate right after he'd done one that was part of like a mechanic or something. So that internal cooldown, or ICD as players say all the time, is going to be removed. So get ready to start countering even more. Another cool combat change is we decreased the taunt resistance figure of Guardians slightly.
With that counter update, for all you bozos who miss their counters, now you don't got an excuse. Now if you miss your counters, it's extra done for you, buddy. All you have to do, and I've said this before, hover over the skill. It's going to say counter, and then it's going to say yes. Hit that button when the boss glows blue, and that's all you need to do. It's not hard. Just please, for the love of God, just hit your counter button when we need to counter. It's my biggest pet peeve.
To help out in Guardian raids. And then one other kind of notable one is we modified the death timing of the Lord Carthion Akon from Akon Gate 3. Previously, the boss didn't die exactly when reaching 0 HP, but it will now. Another important one, a bunch of cards were just added to the game with Tier 4, as I'm sure you've seen and started collecting some of the new ones. And we've expanded the basic card storage slots from 120 slots to 250 slots.
We're getting
As you know, or probably have done, you can purchase additional slots for all those cards with blue crystals. But as part of this, of getting those 130
do I get my blue crystals
slots,
back tomorrow?
Any that exceed the maximum number of slots, which is 510, will have a corresponding amount of crystals refunded to you. So if you were already at 510, you'd get the crystal amount for the 130. Or if you're a bit below that, you'll have, the 40 or 50 slots over refunded to you. So hopefully that helps out. And if you've already bought all those slots, you'll have a little bit of a bonus waiting for you. There's a ton more small UI improvements, quest updates, stronghold updates, item updates, and then also some more like little combat and system ones. So if you want to check out that full list and read about every little thing that's changed, you should definitely go check out our release notes page on the website where all of those changes are going to be documented. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Winter Soloist update. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Patch Notes with Henry. As always, appreciate any feedback, constructive criticism, whatever you might have, let us know in the comments. And our video team loves when I end with a community question. So for this one, I'd love to hear what character you're excited to use the Icy Breakthrough event on to get some of those honing books, extra gold,
I need to look at it more.
Behemoth scales, and the advanced honing ones. Let me know what character you want to push up. There's been a bunch of changes to the game, and I'm trying to figure out which of my bench characters to push up, so I'll be looking for any nuggets of wisdom there in the comments. As always, if you found these videos helpful, please like and subscribe. Just super helpful to get that feedback. Let us know if this is something we should keep doing. I'm also going to look into maybe doing a solo mode playthrough and uploading that to YouTube for players to check out. So if you're looking for a solo mode guide, be on the lookout and stay tuned to our YouTube channel for that as well. In the meantime, thanks for joining me for another episode of Patch Notes with Henry, and I'll see you in Arcasia.
That content, Henry? I mean, all around, it's not a bad little patch that they're putting out tomorrow. We'll look a bit. I was kind of glancing during the video at the patch notes. The event. These are all good. Like what we're getting and what we have to do it. Playing the game the normal way you would. I wish they would show the other tabs. So we're holding gear over 1640, so it's tier 4 characters. but does it max out at, like, what's the max item level for it is my question, because if I use it on 11640, I can't use the books on my 1660 to push to Hard Aegir and Belshazzar. That's really like my only question. We've seen the skins. These are all kind of meh, whatever. I'll link the patch notes. So if you want to check all this out, you can. Because it's honestly a lot and I don't want to read it. Yeah, I'll just figure it out as we go. Yeah, all around not a bad patch at all. Could be pretty juiced.